Hello everyone and welcome to this week's English commentary of a match that was played in 1990. Red was Master Fu Guangming, who represented火车头at that time. He was originally from Beijing. Black was Master Yan Qing from Hebei province. This match, the commentary was taken from Dubious positions and how to attack them, which was a part of a trilogy of opening books that are considered to be one of the best of all time. And Master Yan Wenqing happened to be one of the authors, together with Grandmaster Xiangqi. I would like to thank them again for the opportunity to allowing me to use their material to promote Xiangqi. So without further ado, let us begin. Master Fu Guangming started with the central cannon, and for his second move he chose to play p3+1. Now this showed that he had prepared a series of variations based on a third pawn advancement and refused or would not allow black to play p7+1. And as a counter, black decided to play the opposite direction cannons, which was a very aggressive counter in Xiangqi. Now the variation played here is the deferred opposite direction cannons, which differs from the opposite direction cannons played in the ancient manuals, whereby if red played c2 equals to 5, black will counter immediately with c2 equals to 5. As the central cannon came from opposite sides of the board, it is called the opposite direction cannons. Now, a better term would be contralateral, but I think this name has stuck on, and it's the direct translation of its Chinese name 猎手炮 or 猎炮 simply. Now this is the situation here. This opening system will lead to many very complicated and very sharp, intense situations whereby the room for margin is minimal, and a small mistake could mean that you lose the game right just within the span of one ply. So Master Fu Guangming continued to develop both horses as proper horses and had not developed his chariot. And black chose to play the 3-step tiger. And since this chariot could not be developed, black would now play his left chariot as a foul chariot. And at this point, both colors were the position for both colors were the exact same identical replica of each other. Now, red would have the initiative because he went first. Now, at this point in time, there was a comment in the book that said it is not so easy to realize the advantage because it will be impossible for black to copy red's each and every move. And of course, black would not be willing to do so forever. And the 7th ply would show the start of change, because now black cannot play h3+4. Now another feasible option is to play r8+4. Black would try to trade chariots, red would accept, and the 9th cannon would now capture the pawn, preparing to capture this pawn in this situation. And if black played h2+3, there's always the alternative or option of playing c1 equals to 3 to hinder the development of the black horse and also target the black elephant. So red would have the initiative. Now in the match, h3+4 was played. Black countered with the ranked chariot, protecting the horse, so that if black played r1 equals to 6, red would be more than eager to play c5 equals to 4. So that is why black had to play r1 equals to 4. Now it was at this point in time that black made a very unusual mistake or blunder with c5 equals to 3. Now the reasoning will appear to be okay, because now red would be threatening to play p3+1 to target and attack the black horse. Unfortunately, by moving the cannon away, black center would now become very fragile. There's only one horse protecting the central pawn. So the match, as the match went on, it would be obvious that this was a huge mistake by red. And the sound move for this situation would be to play a4 plus 5 or develop a rank chariot with r1 plus 1, and it will still be a standoff. And seeing that the center was now void and empty, black immediately launched an attack with p5 plus 1. Now this was a very powerful counter attack, because not only would black be attacking the central file, if red advanced the pawn, black could simply link his horses on the central file. And this was a very powerful move that was played at the most perfect time possible. Red would choose to play a4 plus 5. Now this was a necessary move to make the consolidated defense. Now black cannot jump the gun and play h4 plus 3, because p5 black will continue with p5 plus 1, and red will be forced to trade his his horse for the black cannon. Now, as can be seen, at this point in time, the red horse would have used up 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to trade away for one of black's for the black cannon that only made one move. And after trading away, black would still have a central cannon with this move. Now, red would gain material, would indeed gain material, but as can be seen, black would play h3 plus 5 to start his counter attack. Red would have the material advantage, but unfortunately he would now be under heavy attack, especially from the central file. Now this is not desirable, and the losses sustained by red will greatly outweigh the gains that he had made in terms of material. So that is why a4 plus 5 is advocated, so that black would beef up his defense on the central file and be prepared to play h4 plus 3, etc. later on. But black would now start his counter attack, p5 plus 1, and choose to link his horses. In the match, h4 plus 3 was played because red was simply greedy for the extra pawn. But unbeknown to him, this would be there was already danger lurking everywhere, and he underestimated the strength of black's counter attack, and he will have to pay dearly for his brashness very soon. Now the ideal or recommended move at this point in time would be to trade horses with h4 plus 5, and after trading horses, black would advance the pawn. This would be a sacrifice. The main motive would be to compress or decrease the amount of space available for the black horse to move, capturing the pawn and delivering a check. Red will counter it with the central cannon, and black will protect the horse in this manner. Now, black cannot jump the gun and play c9 equals to 5, which would be a common tactic to use, because if he did so, red would advance the chariot to attack or target the black horse. The black horse would not have any good places to move, and it would have to retreat, and only to be further attacked by the red chariot. So that is why c9 equals to 4, c9 equals to 5 is not an option. So black would protect the horse first as he started his counter attack. Now, black would try to relieve some pressure by offering a trade of cannons, which black accepted. And at this point in time, black would deliberately sacrifice more material with this move. Red would move the chariot away, and after a few rounds, black is still attacking very vigorously, and but red would have simplified the situation, and this would allow him to put up a formidable defense, and he will still take black a lot of effort to win. So that is why h4 plus 5 would have been advocated. And seeing that a4 black did not play or capture the central horse, black immediately started attacking. Now this is a very unusual attack, but it showed that black had a keen sense of the board. Now usually black would not want to trade chariots in this manner because this chariot was essential for guarding the throat rank. But in this situation, because after trading material, the horse would advance attack the hanging red horse. This was one of the main ideas behind this trade, and there were many other tactical considerations. It was a very brilliant move by black. So after trading material, the red horse would be unprotected, and red will beef up his defense in this manner. And at this point in time, given the chance to attack, both the black horses will now charge immediately into battle. R1 equals to 4 to develop the chariot. Now, would it be a good idea to capture the black cannon, since it was the main engine behind red's attack? Black's attack. The answer would be no. And after a few rounds, although the situation is simplified, black would have the better combination of men. This is considered more desirable. The 1R1 H1C or 1 chariot 1 cannon 1 horse combination is much better than red's 1 chariot 2 cannons combination. And at this point, red was bound to lose more material. So R1 equals to 4 was played, and black could now start his attack from everywhere. Now, red tried to play as aggressively as possible, advancing the horse in this manner, threatening to capture the black chariot. And also, there will be a check with h4 minus 6 for the pale corner horse. Black could move his chariot to safety, and he had anticipated red's attack all along. A check, and red was forced to play h4 minus 5. If not, black could play r8 equals to 4, and the red horse would be lost. Black will continue his very powerful attack. Because red had developed his chariot as a kingside chariot, the palace was very congested and very vulnerable to attacks by the black horses. Now black would be prepared to play, say, h3 plus 1 to trade away the cannons. And after trading the cannons, since the elephant would be moved here, black would capture the central elephant and gain material. So that is why red would have to decided to move his cannon to safety and deny black the option of playing h3 plus 1. But in doing so, black will now attack mercilessly. This target will be red's cannon rank. Now this was a very tricky and devious move, because now black will be prepared to gain material with h4 plus 3. And there would also be the option of capturing the elephant if need be. And at this point in time, black would have many tactical options available, and red would now land himself in a very tight situation. R4 plus 3 to try to dislodge the black horse, but in doing so, in trying to alleviate any potential attacks by the black horses, red was forced to move his chariot to the pawn rank. But in doing so, this opened up a huge weakness in red's right flank, and black exploited this, saw this situation, exploited it very nicely with advancing his cannon. Now, the black cannon and chariot are now prepared to capture the advisor to gain more material and possibly a winning position. So at this point in time, we can safely say that the outcome was already determined, and this was only the 21st ply. So r4 plus 1, a check, and black would simply capture the advisor, preparing to go for checkmate with c6 equals to 3. Now this would force the king to move to safety, and black would retreat his cannon to his cannon rank. This would be a discovered check, and by doing so, the black cannon would be prepared to play h6 equals to 4 to deliver a check. Now, seeing that it was hopeless, red resigned, although it was still very early in the game. This was only the 25th ply. So, but why did black resign? I ran the position through the computer and found that black would indeed have a very powerful attack that would lead possibly to a checkmate. So these were the moves given in the computer. Red would be forced to advance this king, a check, and red would be forced to sacrifice his chariot. Now red would have to sacrifice the chariot, but in doing so it will only prolong his misery. Now, could black have played a5 plus 6? The answer would be no. Black will immediately deliver a check with this, and since the red king cannot move to the central file, the only viable move would be either to play r1 equals to 6, but unfortunately in doing so black would checkmate in this manner. Now if the advisor were played, check. So that is why r1 equals to 6 had to be played, but in doing so red would be sure to lose. The following moves given here were from my computer, analyzing the position. So you will show the final kill. The black horse will now advance, check, and threaten to capture the red horse, or this will be a trade of horses. The black king tries to move to safety, but black will have none of it. Check. Now at this point in time, black could have captured the red horse, but it was not too efficient. Instead, he could advance his horse, trade horses, and then force another trade of material. So now it would be black's 1, 2, 3, 4 major pieces versus red's 3 major pieces, and none of the red pieces were a chariot. So it was just black's time to perform. A check and a check. Checkmate. Now this kill is very often seen in the ancient manual, invincible after coming out of the caves. This is quite a lengthy title, but this is one of the kills that is often shown there. So short recap: central cannon, horse, a third pawn, and black chooses to develop his left chariot and flank cannon. Red takes his time to develop material, and black decided to counter very aggressively with the opposite direction cannons. So this match went on. Finally, by the 7th ply, there was black could not copy black's move anymore. Chariot, another blunder, c5 equals to 3, and black immediately charged his central pawn forward, consolidating the defense, sacrificing the pawn to gain some material. And unfortunately, at this point in time, red did not trade horses, but instead chose to capture the pawn. Now there was a hefty price to pay. Black could immediately offer a trade of chariots, which will allow for further development of his black horses. Now the red chariot cannot move out, so it's basically hemmed in here for the moment. After trading chariots, the other cards will come around, and so will the cannon, threatening to checkmate. Black would have none of it. A check. I retreat. Red retreats the horse, but after much maneuvering, Black could now manage to get a cannon and chariot on the same bottom rank. Now this would be in preparation for any discovered attacks. And at this point in time, Black resigned. So I hope you have enjoyed my short commentary. So it's 2 past AM in the morning, and I hope that this will help your game. Thank you.